It's very forgiving.
So it's thicker in the middle.
Thicker in the middle because if you were paying attention to me earlier, I said Hi, I'm Sue Lee. I'm in the New York Times cooking studio today, and I'm here to tell you about my pork and chive dumplings for Dumpling Week. These dumplings are a version of dumplings that I like to get when I'm in Taipei. There's this very specific hike in Taipei City. It's called Elephant Mountain. If you've ever visited the city, you've probably done this hike before because it's such a touristy thing. I stumbled upon this little dumpling shop sort of at the base of the mountain. I went and sat at the stall, ate the dumplings, ate like 5, and was like, this is delicious, let's eat 5 more. That's the inspiration for these dumplings. So in this recipe, I encourage you to make your own dumpling wrappers. It is a fun activity. You can also sort of get over the hurdle of making your own wrapper. It can seem like it's daunting, but really it's quite simple. In this recipe, there's only 3 ingredients: all-purpose flour, baking powder, and water. The baking powder gives the dough a little bit of like a puff, and there's no yeast in this because it's a traditional dumpling. Just gonna add water, and the dough will look very shaggy and dry, but trust me, if you keep mixing the dough in the bowl, it'll come together. But if you feel a little nervous, you're welcome to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of water just to make it a little easier for it to come together. What I recommend you do is that you just mix all the dough inside the bowl. I just think like the drier the dough, the easier it is for someone to like roll it out on the surface. You don't really have to add more bench flour. Okay, so basically I'm done. The dough is ready. I know it's gonna be a little bit strange and a little shaggy looking, and you're gonna be like, no, this doesn't seem right. I really want you to trust me in the process. The dough will continue to hydrate as it sits in the plastic wrap for about 4 hours. When you're ready to make the dumpling, you're gonna take the dough out, let it sit at room temperature for about an hour. During that time, you can make your filling. So you're gonna take a large bunch of garlic chives.
Can we sub green onions or not?
No.
Okay.
Please use garlic chives. The flavors are very different and the textures are different. There really is no substitute. I'm cutting them a little less than a 1/4 inch thick. You basically want them to be small enough so that you can easily wrap them in the dough. 1.5 pounds of ground pork. If you're able to get your hands on some fatty pork at a butcher or maybe an Asian grocery store, please, I highly recommend it. But if not, this is just from a regular grocery store and it's totally okay. Soy sauce, sesame oil, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 egg. I'm just gonna use my hand. Because guess what, Jeannie? I should have used a larger bowl. Like you had it. Just mix it all up. I recommend that you make the filling right before you're about to wrap the dumplings. Once you add salt and sugar to the garlic chives, it's going to make the garlic chives leach water, and it'll make the filling too moist and too wet. This is almost done. You basically just want to make sure that the chives are evenly distributed and the filling looks a little like sticky when you're touching it. Put it in the fridge until you're ready to roll your dumplings. The dough has been resting about 4 hours in the fridge. I'm just gonna pat it into a rectangle, and I'm gonna cut it into about 4 equal pieces. This dough is a swap that was made for me. You can see there was a couple of tablespoons of water added to it, and it still feels perfectly fine. I'm just gonna work with 1 section at a time. And I'm gonna roll this out to roughly 14 inches length. And I have a ruler, because I love a ruler, but you don't have to use it. This is backwards. Then cut this into about 1-inch pieces. What I like to do is cut it in half again, so it's just easier to work with. You'll get about 4 pieces per segment. I have some bench flour here just in case you might need it. I'm just gonna dust the pan. To roll out the wrappers, you're gonna use the palm of your hand and gently press down on each section of the dough that you cut. Roll up and down, halfway up the dough, do a quarter turn, repeat the rolling motion again, and keep going until your wrapper is about 4 inches in diameter. A little smaller is okay. Just know that if it's smaller, you're gonna use less filling. I want extra help.
I remember 2024, you're like, no one in my kitchen except for me.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Roughly 2 tablespoons or 1 heaping tablespoon. And what I like to do is keep one thumb down. Like I said, it's really pliable, so you can just pinch it. And know that, like, yes, maybe some filling will squeeze out just like it happened here, but it's okay. Pinch it all around the half moon to seal it, or if you want to be fancy, you can pleat it. I am a little bit impatient to make like perfect pleats, so I sort of just give them like 2 pleats on the sides and 1 pinch in the middle. So we're gonna pan fry the dumplings. You want the pan to be nice and hot, and you want to also preheat the oil. Once the oil is shimmery and the pan is hot, you can just layer 1 single layer of dumplings all around the pan. You're gonna hear the sizzle. And just give them like a little bit of space. I wanna say about 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna put one in the center. If you're not ready to cook the dumplings like the same day that you make it, or if you have a lot left over, freeze it on a tray in the freezer, and when you're ready to cook the dumplings again, don't thaw them at all. You can just cook them same from frozen, 8 to 9 minutes in the pan. Then what I'm gonna do is add a 1/4 cup of water, cover it with a lid, and let it cook for 8 to 9 minutes. The steam from the water will help cook the top of the dumplings, and this way you will get a nice golden crust on the bottom. You can see that the dough is slightly translucent. Let's check the bottoms. This should come off easily, and it does. See, it's nice and golden on the bottom. Okay, I'm just gonna transfer them to my plate. You can easily see if you heat the pan well enough, just the chemistry of cooking, things do release. The dumplings have a very nice golden crust on the bottom, and also adding the water helps to steam the rest of the dumplings so you don't have to turn it. The steam will help like cook the dough. So here are the dumplings. I can't wait to try them. They smell so good. The way I like to eat my dumplings is I actually like 1 part soy sauce and 3 parts vinegar. I like to use rice vinegar, and I like my sauce to be more vinegary than soy saucy. I really like the way this one looks. So you can see the addition of baking powder gave the dough a little bit of puff. I really like that texture. Thank you all for joining us for Dumpling Week and for following along. If you want to make the pork and chive dumplings, you can go to New York Times Cooking for this recipe and all other recipes. Oh. Mushrooms, beef, love white vinegar. It's very good.